I've come up with 3 stages of emotional incest, and today we're going to cover stage 1, the glory phase. Hang on. So just a reminder, emotional incest is when you're emotionally smothered by a parent. They're using you for their benefit. They're taking you over. You could be their little mini husband or mini wife in terms of you feel like that, you're being used like that. And if it's a 2-parent household, the other parent is watching this go on. They're watching the perpetrating parent do this. Usually it's because of a bad marriage, or for the parent watching and not doing anything could be complete indifference. Or they're afraid of the perpetrating parent. They're like, I don't want to make things worse around here, so they lose their voice and they become cowards and they don't do anything to save the child. But the child's in a lot of trouble, and today we want to look at stage 1, which is the glory phase. Now by glory phase, the child is young enough that they haven't hit adolescence yet. They haven't even gone through puberty. And when kids hit puberty, that's going to be the second part of this 3-part video series. That's when things begin to shift, because now the child begins to realize there's something off here. But for now, let's just stay in the glory phase. The other siblings haven't quite caught on that this one child is getting more attention than them. Maybe they're noticing, but they haven't had time, let's say, to build up anger or resentment or bitterness, because it's just unfolding now. And the child is too young to know there's problems in the relationship if it's a 2-parent household, that the marriage is bad. A little kid's not going to know that or have words for that at all. So all they know is they're getting treated very special in many ways, and it's kind of fun. It feels good. And of course, they're going to go along with it because that's how they're being conditioned. Now, they're being conditioned with conditional love, not unconditional love. But again, the child is too young to figure this out. What's the difference between conditional love versus unconditional love? They don't know. They do know, however, that they better zip it and not say too much about themselves. Now, that's the conditional love. But when you're 5, 6, 7, 8, most kids don't have the words for this. And other people seem to be okay with it. This is kind of normal. Extended family, neighbors. Everybody thinks, oh, the parent has such a loving relationship with that one particular child. So all in all, everything's good. The mother's happy. The father may be happy too, because maybe he doesn't even want to be with the wife. Maybe he's over her. Maybe it's a horrible marriage. Just let her do what she wants. And so it's possible that the father's happy, the smothering mother's happy, child's happy, and the other siblings haven't quite caught on yet. So they're happy too, let's say. So in these glory years, life is good, but the child doesn't realize that their identity is being stripped away and they're being set up in a way. It's a setup. There's an agenda behind all of this conditional love. The parent isn't behaving this way to really help the child grow up in a healthy way and find their wings and leave the family someday and be a strong, healthy person with a strong identity. No, it's quite the opposite. Because in order for a parent to take over the child, they have to strip away that identity. You can't have a very vocal, loud, opinionated, unruly, temper tantrum, the kind of child as the one you're going to take over. You need the more mellow, quiet, submissive child. The irony of this, if it's a family with other siblings, the other sibling, let's say there's one that's acting out a lot, having temper tantrums, being unruly, it's so healthy for them because that's sending the message to the parents, don't mess with me. I'm going to find out who I am and you're not going to take me over. So even though they may be acting out, that could be very healthy. And in one of my videos, and I'll have the link below for you, I describe how acting out can be very healthy. That's a child's way of making sure that they stay planted. I know who I am. It's actually very healthy, but it's not viewed as healthy at the time. Others, let's say extended family and so on, would say, oh God, what a horrible kid. I can see why the mother doesn't spend a lot of time with him or her, not understanding that the very reason they're acting out is because they have perhaps a narcissistic parent who's trying to emotionally smother them. Sometimes to keep the child malleable and passive, they have to gaslight them perhaps, make them question their thinking a little bit, talk badly about the other parent. Oh, I don't know why I ever married him. And now the child has taken sides. Bit of manipulation sprinkled in here and there. But again, because the child is young, they don't know any better. This is quite okay. So this is the glory phase. It could be very enjoyable for the child. Now, I did get a comment on a video recently where somebody said that they believe they're a victim of emotional incest. And during this glory phase, they weren't treated all that well. They felt a bit neglected, but there still was a lot of emotional smothering going on. That's what the viewer said in the comment section. So that could be the case depending on how you were raised. that maybe you weren't always put on a pedestal, but you were still being emotionally taken over. And so the results in the long term will be the same. So let's say there's a bad marriage, there's several kids in the family. The mother, let's say, is very unhappy. She's not going to seek professional help to deal with the issues in her marriage, let's say. And so she sort of zooms in and decides, I'm going to take this chosen child, we'll also say this golden child, with me more and more and more. So it can start very subtly. This one particular child she's confiding more in, telling this child all the adult problems, bringing this child to adult events perhaps, treating this child like they're the husband, but they're not. Yes, their mother or father maybe has narcissistic traits, but they don't know what a narcissist is. Seems normal to them. All they mainly know is they're being put on a pedestal, and if they go along with it, if they capitulate to what the parent wants, they don't rock the boat too much, and they just sort of listen to the adult, because they notice if they put the focus on themselves, try to talk about themselves, the parent quickly shows either verbally or non-verbally that that's not going to happen. They don't want to hear that. So they realize if they just listen to the parent, things are okay. Family life is good. So as this is a 3-part series, stay tuned for stages 2 and 3 coming up. Please leave me some comments below. I'd love to hear your comments about the glory phase. If you were emotionally smothered, what was it like for you? Please subscribe to my mental health YouTube channel if you like these kind of videos. And until next week, this is Brad Shore signing off from Ask a Chef.